Welcome to the Depth Dive. Today we're getting into a really fascinating concept, surrender. And we're not talking about giving up in the usual sense. It's something, well, much deeper. We've got some incredible source material today. We're looking at notes from someone named Shunpeter Z, that's Shunpeter Z. He's got this amazing background, former investment banker, VC, now runs an English school in Tokyo. And he's been keeping these notes, these really intimate dialogues with Z. He describes Z as a higher, more observational part of his own consciousness.
Yeah, and what's so valuable about these notes is they give us this raw, firsthand look at a pretty intense journey of self-discovery. It's really about what happens when someone consciously decides to, let go, not passively giving in, but really making an active choice to trust something deeper, and how that fundamentally changes things, changes their reality from the inside.
Yeah, right. So our mission here is to explore Shunpeter Z's experience with surrender, pull out the wisdom from these Z dialogues, and see how trusting that deeper part of yourself, well, how it might unlock a totally new way of living and creating for you, the listener. Get ready. This could really offer some aha moments, I think. Okay, so let's dive in. Shunpeter Z's journey seems to hit this really pivotal point. Z tells him that these two phases, Fornix and Athanor, are ending. They sound pretty heavy, almost mystical. What exactly was going on for him there?
Well, he uses these really rich alchemical metaphors, which is fascinating in itself. Fornix, for him, it represented this intense burning away, integrating old beliefs, old concepts. Think of the Negrito in Alchemy, the blackening,
Right.
where the old self gets consumed.
Pure
for the
thought,
night.
like stripping things down to a core.
Exactly. And then Athanor followed that. That's the alchemical furnace. It was a quieter time, reintegration, fermentation almost. He mentioned not feeling motivated for Malchut-like tasks.
Malchut-like tasks. What does that mean, practically?
Sort of everyday material world stuff. The usual business grind, maybe external things he used to focus on.
Right, so it's like this period of intentional non-doing, letting something new brew internally.
Precisely. Like wine fermenting, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And Z really emphasized that pushing, trying to do things in the old way during Athanor would actually mess things up. It could hinder the internal restructuring that was happening.
I see. So how did that play out for him? Did he just stop working?
Not entirely stop, but his focus shifted. He found himself less drawn to, say, recording YouTube videos for an audience. Instead, he was quietly working on articles for his website, ZPF.jp. It wasn't about seeking validation outside himself anymore. It was more personal expression.
Okay, that makes sense. And right in the middle of this Athanor phase, Z gives him this new instruction, install being code. Sounds very techy, like updating your internal software. What is being code?
That's a great analogy, actually. It is like a blueprint for a new way of being. Z described the installation as almost quantum-like. It's downloaded as a pure blueprint from Z consciousness, but it's also refined within Shunpeter Z, the avatar, using all his past experiences, and then the combination of those two crystallizes into this new code.
Wow, so even the blog writing he was doing, that wasn't just doing something.
Right. Z helped him see it differently. It was actually part of expressing his inner being's light. So it was a creative act that was part of installing this being code coming from a new place.
So the energy behind the action is key.
Absolutely. And that raises a really important question for anyone going through transformation, doesn't it? When you're in that deep internal shift, how do you tell the difference? How do you know if you're doing something productive that aligns with your new being, or just falling back into old patterns, patterns driven by, anxiety or obligation?
That's a tough one. And this is where it gets even more interesting, right? He comes across the great work. He connects Fornix to Negrito, the blackening, and Athanor to albedo and rubedo, the whitening and reddening stages in alchemy. It really feels like a classic transformation arc.
It absolutely maps onto that archetypal journey. The great work is that process of transmuting the self, Fornix, burning away the old, Athanor, the quiet rebirth. The phoenix rising from the ashes, that's the new self emerging. And the ultimate goal, the philosopher's stone, isn't some external thing you find. It's the fully integrated self, where your everyday self and that deeper Z consciousness are, well, one.
And then comes this really profound insight he gets from Z, that the great work, these alchemical terms, they weren't just random concepts he stumbled upon.
No. Z described them as playful hints.
Playful hints. Meaning what?
Meaning they were prearranged, placed there by his own Z consciousness. It marked this shift for him, from just being a player in the game, to understanding, maybe even helping create, the game's structure, becoming a game master in a sense.
Wow, so he's realizing the challenges and insights aren't random.
Exactly. They're like carefully placed clues from his deeper self, guiding him towards a new level of understanding, a new way of operating. It reframes everything.
Okay, so he's embracing this game master idea. He tries to define specific being codes for himself. Things like world peace or self-realization for all. Seems like good goals.
They do seem noble, right? But Z helped him see a subtle trap there. It was a crucial realization. Even those beautiful codes were still coming from the ego.
How so?
It was the ego wanting to control, to fix what it saw as deficient in the world. It was still playing by the old rules, trying to script the perfect outcome instead of just being the change.
Ah, okay. The ego trying to manage the process, even with good intentions.
Precisely. Still trying to be the writer, not the character embodying a new reality.
So, if defining outcomes isn't the answer, what does this mean for surrender? What's the real move here?
His biggest breakthrough, maybe the core of this whole thing, was realizing the most powerful being code wasn't a specific goal at all. It was simply to give the geo sign to Z.
Give the geo sign. What does that feel like? Is it just letting go completely?
It's not passive giving up, no. It's an active, conscious choice. A choice to release the ego's small stories, its need for control, its definitions of success and failure, and to fully radically trust the infinite creativity of Z. It's like saying, okay, I'll be the spectator and the protagonist in this next chapter, but I'm not writing the script anymore.
And the Z, this higher self, it's not external, right? It's part of him.
Exactly. That's key. It's a deeper, more expansive layer of his own consciousness. So surrender isn't submitting to something outside. It's an act of profound self-trust, aligning with your deepest nature.
Okay, I get it. And doing that allowed something to return.
Yes. His childhood being qualities started coming back online. Things like innocent joy, explorer curiosity, magician creativity, aspects that got pushed aside while his ego was busy growing up and trying to manage everything.
So Z, or his deeper self, just wants to create a story based on enjoyment.
Pretty much. Not a story based on struggle or fixing deficiencies or needing validation. Just pure enjoyment. Reconnecting with that innate playfulness and creative power.
Okay, so ShunpeterZ makes this big declaration. He gives the geo sign to Z, trust activated, but life keeps happening, right? The game continues. He's still got his business. His English school's revenue is still way down from COVID. He's looking at KPIs, cash flow, and often the numbers look bad. That must trigger a lot of anxiety for a business owner.
Oh, absolutely. And this is where Z introduces another fascinating concept, the Esau effect.
The Esau effect, like the biblical story.
Sort of. Z explained it as the remnants, the echoes of those old beliefs he'd burned away in Fornix. These remnants get sent out into his reality, manifesting as situations or even metaphorically NPCs, non-playable characters, and their purpose, to test the depth of his surrender.
Wow. So for him, the scary business KPIs,
Yes.
those are the Esau?
Exactly. For a business owner, what's more tied to survival fears than KPIs and cash flow, right? So they become the perfect test. Data that feels like life or death for his company, directly challenging his trust in Z.
It's like Z is gently poking him. Okay, you said you surrendered? But do you really trust me, even now? Even when it looks like this?
Yeah. And what's really cool is how his approach to this changes. He had this old archetype, the firefighting KPI man.
I know that guy, the hero who jumps in and fixes everything but gets burned out.
Right. That heroic but exhausting problem solver mode. Z guided him to reframe that energy, not as a hero needed for crises, but as a ZPF generator.
The ZPF generator, zero-point field generator.
A powerful force, but fueled differently. Fueled by creative projects, by play, not by fear or the constant need to fix things. It's about changing the fuel for that powerful drive he has, from anxiety to, well, joy and inspiration.
And he starts seeing signs too, doesn't he? Like number sequences.
Incredible ones. While traveling, he's held this stream of rare sequences, 5555, 7777, 1111. Z confirmed them as clear chapter change signs, like little nods from the game engine saying, yep, you're shifting levels.
So these synchronicities, plus the KPI tests, what did that teach him about reality?
It really reinforced that reality isn't fixed. It's dynamic, it's responsive, it's a rendering. He noticed if he looked for bad KPIs out of anxiety, guess what? They tended to show up. But the number sequences, he just happened to see them. They were just there, effortlessly, like part of the game's UI, the user interface.
Ah, the observer effect playing out in his own life. What he focused on, especially with fear, tended to manifest.
Exactly. It deepened his understanding of how his internal state was co-creating his experience.
So this leads him to grasp consciousness as multi-layered, right? Z, I, and me.
Yes. Z is the source, the observer. I is the projector, the part that renders reality. And me is the ego, the experiencer within that reality. And the key is, surrender isn't about the me giving up to some external Z. It's about aligning these internal layers, harmonizing them.
So it's moving from feeling like a single player, the me, struggling alone,
To realizing you're part of this larger internal multiplayer system. It's about internal harmony, not external submission. And interestingly, he even noticed his wife, Emiko, started showing what he called Z-mode behavior sometimes.
Really? So the integration wasn't just happening inside him.
It seemed to ripple out, suggesting a kind of collective consciousness aspect,
Hmm.
even within his immediate reality rendering. Very interesting.
And I love the detail about his Euron and Atoma dolls, the lion plushies.
Aha, yes. Z apparently called them envoys from Z.
That's brilliant, having these physical things.
They acted as tangible anchors, reminders of peace, comfort, abundance, especially when the abstract fear tied to the KPIs might pop up. Z used them playfully, but powerfully, to reinforce that unconditional trust. A reminder that support is always there, sometimes in unexpected plushy forms.
So after all this, ShunpeterZ's big takeaway about surrender, it isn't some guarantee of perfect results, is it?
No, not a conditional bargain. It's quieter than that. It's this profound acceptance that everything is a reward rendering.
Everything. Even the tough stuff. The
Yeah.
bad numbers.
Yes, it's all part of the rendering, part of the experience. Not necessarily good or bad in the old ego sense, but just information, feedback, the unfolding game.
Wow. That really makes you think, doesn't it?
It really does. What happens if you stop labeling things? If you just experience events as renderings, as UI from your deeper self? How does that change your whole story about success and failure? What if every experience was just a reward feedback for the journey itself?
ShunpeterZ's story is such a powerful example. It shows that the universe, or Z consciousness, whatever you call it, it meets you at the depth of your surrender, right? Not at the height of your striving and struggle.
Exactly. And it highlights how maybe the things we're taught to want, specific outcomes, validation, control, maybe those are just the ego trying to keep its hands on the wheel.
So true surrender isn't about ditching your dreams.
Not at all. It's about ditching the conditions the ego attaches to them. It's realizing, on some level, a version of you already has what you desire. And when you can detach as if it's done, trust like it's already yours, smile like it's arriving, that certainty, that trust, starts to shape reality.
So ultimately, the higher power isn't out there somewhere.
No. For ShunpeterZ, it turned out to be a deeper, more joyful, infinitely creative part of himself. It's shifting from being the lone hero fighting endless battles to being that ZPF generator, enjoying the game, letting pure, unconditional play create something far beyond what the struggling ego could ever map out.
An incredible journey.
So thinking about all this, what really stands out to you? Could those challenges you're facing right now, those bad numbers in your own life, actually be pivotal lessons, hints from your deeper self, rather than just roadblocks? And maybe the biggest question, how might embracing unconditional play, that sense of enjoyment and trust ShunpeterZ found, transform your journey? Shifting it from struggle to something more like effortless creation.